Everybody, welcome to the Franchise Hockey Manager 2 weekly Twitch stream. I am Jeff Riddles, a producer of Franchise Hockey Manager. And normally with me would be Adam, our community manager, who is a little bit under the weather today. He's with us, but he is not going to be talking a whole lot. So, Adam, you don't have to say hi now. And also joining us to help out a little bit since Adam can't talk is Rich Grisham, who is our Chief Marketing Officer. Hello there, Rich. Say hi to everybody.
What's happening? I'm very excited to be here. This is my first time that I've been able to join you, and I'm excited. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and you are a Flyers fan, if I remember correctly, right, Rich?
Oh, no. Oh, no. I'm a Devils.
Almost got you. Okay. What
Yep.
we normally
Tried.
would be
Good try.
normally we'd be going back to our 1980 Winnipeg Jets team, Jets game, but since Adam isn't really going to be able to participate completely in that, and we had a couple of requests for this, we thought we'd do something a little bit different and start up a new expansion team in the modern NHL. That's an option we added this year. It's I'm not sure if people are completely aware it's there, so it's something that if you haven't tried already, adds a new challenge to the game. You're starting completely from scratch with the expansion draft, and it's a little bit complicated to get set up, or at least not too intuitive. We don't there's not any obvious settings to it right at the start of the game, so I'm going to walk you through that, and you can see how to do that. And we will do the whole expansion draft, hire a staff, and hopefully get the team completely ready by the end of the hour. And then we will probably take that expansion game and just sim it forward a few years, and Adam will provide you with regular updates to it on Facebook and Twitter, and we'll see how our expansion team can do in the next few years. So what I'm going to do here is, you can see I'm on the main title screen of the game. I am starting a new game. And let's go with this. I figured since it looks like Las Vegas is going to be the most likely expansion team, if there's going to be any real NHL expansion in 2016, it'll apparently be them and just one team and not Quebec. But in the game, we have to expand by two teams at the time, so we're going to do both, but we will still take the Las Vegas one. And I can, like with any other normal modern game, I can either start with the current end-of-season rosters, post-trading deadline, or the opening day rosters. I think it makes a little more sense in this context to go with the opening day ones. So this is basically a what if the NHL had expanded by two teams at the beginning of this current season. So start it up, and we will go through the usual setup routine. It'll take a minute or so to get through that because I haven't got the quickest computer in the world. Going to be time to upgrade for me soon, but here we go, slowly getting through it. And you will see in a second, once we get through this, we will get to the normal start screen. Yeah, where I can select all the leagues. We'll go with the full suite of them. And just quickly set up my personal details here. One thing I do need to do here is mark play in commissioner mode. You need that option active to select the expansion option when you begin a new game. Other than that, this is pretty much completely identical to starting a regular modern game. I am going to start unemployed. You'll see the reason for that in a second, because there's an option to immediately take over an expansion team when you expand. And other than that, everything is okay. We'll let that get started here. And it shouldn't take too long to get through. And when I get through this screen, it will take me, once we get through the scouting, it will take me to pretty much the exact same place you would be if you would start the normal game as an unemployed head coach. I've done everything identically in the setup up to this point, other than specifying the commissioner mode, which you may do anyhow when you start a game, but you absolutely need it in this case. Just waiting to get through here. Almost done. Always run slowly when you're waiting. There we go. Almost there. And it's just setting up the exhibition games right now.
Better than an exhibition game, right? Everybody loves those.
Yep.
Any idea what you want to call the Las Vegas team, Jeff?
Apparently, what the guy that's going to be the probable owner wants to call them the Black Knights, which seems like a terrible name. Apparently, he's a West Point graduate, so he was. So he.
I was just going to say that.
He's taking, he's taking the name, and he apparently wants to use their colors too, which seems like a strange idea for a Las Vegas team.
Now, would they be? I guess they would be in the Kings. I'm division, right? Like, is that where they would get
Yeah,
put?
more than likely. It's actually kind of awkward. I'll just flip up the standings screen so you can see the divisions as they are. The thing is, the way it's the Western Conference that is 2 teams short at the moment in the league configuration. Now, and apparently there's been a lot of promises made. The Wings got moved over to the Eastern Conference when they realigned. And apparently there's absolutely no way they are willing to go back to the West because it's a lot better for them time zone travel-wise and I think TV-wise to be in that conference instead of having to make all the Western road trips. So they're unlikely to move. So I think what we'll do when I set this up, and I will get to that in a second, is stick both teams in the Eastern or in the Western Conference. Las Vegas can go in the Pacific, which makes a perfect amount of sense, but the weird one will be Quebec going into the Central Division where I don't think the farthest east team is Chicago, I guess? Yeah, I think so. Chicago east of Nashville? Not sure.
Oh, that's a good one. I don't think it's east of Nashville. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're same general east-west spot.
But anyhow, the way, let me show everybody here, the way to set up an expansion draft or an expansion at the start of your game, go to the league box up here. This is team and league controls, that tab. You want to be on that one. And hit the edit button and you will see down here you've got the league expansion wizard and the expand league button. Most of the times in games, when you're playing a game, that box will be grayed out and you won't be able to click on it. You're only able to expand normally at the very beginning of the new season on when the league resets on July 1st in the off season. The exception we added because a lot of people wanted to start with an expansion team right off the start. We made it work right at the beginning of a new game, so it's not actually July 1st now, it's August 15th. And I can click on it, and lo and behold, look what we got here. It gives you all the expansion options. So the names it's chosen to begin with: Springfield, Oregon, and someplace called Lac-Saint, Quebec, which I've never heard of, but I think we'll be changing those. So
Salmon Lake.
Yeah, sure. Good fishing, I'm sure. Let's see, Las Vegas. I'm calling us the Aces. Makes far more sense for a Las Vegas team, I think.
I would agree with that.
And I will turn the fan loyalty down a little bit, make the market size a bit bigger. And one thing, whenever you get to a city, I think this is the only or one of the few places where you can edit the city name. When you go to, it's not really a drop-down box per se. You have to type something into the box, and that will initiate the whole drop-down, and keep typing, and you'll eventually get to the city you want. We don't want either one in Honduras, and we don't want Las Vegas, New Mexico. We want Las Vegas, Nevada. And the arena there is going to be the T-Mobile Arena, if I remember correctly. And
the central team should be, we should bring back the Houston Aeros.
I was going to put it in Quebec, but I mean, realistically, that's probably what's going to happen, isn't it? Quebec will be sitting on the sidelines again. So I think, yeah, that actually makes sense. We will go with the Houston Aeros. Another fairly loyalty thing, but Houston's not a great hockey market, but a pretty big city. And Houston, Texas. Typed it in, takes a second to pop up. Definitely don't want Houston, BC. It's a little town of about 1,000 or so people way up north in British Columbia. Anybody know offhand what the arena name is in Houston?
Oh, man.
Is that the Summit still?
No. It's
Yeah, Yeah, the Summit's like a
I'll tell you
mega
that
church or
second.
something. Just
It's
Google
the
it. Toyota
Center.
Center. There we go.
Yep.
I'm assuming they can put ice in there.
How long it'll stay ice is probably the question.
Yeah,
A little hot in Texas.
just a little.
Heard.
And humid in Houston. Okay, so we've got everything set up here. I could theoretically change the divisions around, but I don't want to wind up with weird, unbalanced divisions. So we will just leave them as they are. Houston makes a fair bit of sense in that central division. And I will hit OK. And it will go through a few steps here just to set it up. It actually looks like it's freezing whenever I do this on the processing stage when you set up a new expansion team. That's don't worry, it's not a crash. See, it just went through there, and I can go to my home screen, and I have got a team here. Let's see, decent looking logo, blue and white. I think you probably want to go black and white with a team called the Aces, but I'll fix that when we get through the draft.
Houston will have a nice little rivalry with the Stars, and potentially, I mean, obviously natural rivals in Texas, but also have another south rival with the Predators too. So,
yep.
Be nice.
Okay, and if I finish today, because the expansion draft will actually be scheduled for the day after the first day of the game, so it'll be the 16th, and as soon as it sims for this day, you can see under today's event, NHL expansion draft pops up. And you can see in my news here, I get the announcement that I've joined a team. I've had some other job offers that were ignored, so we will forget about those. Roster you can see is, oh, good God, is bright green. That is not a great color. Definitely going to need to change that. The roster is empty at the moment, and we'll be filling that through the expansion draft, so I will start that up. And that's what we're probably going to spend the bulk of our time on today. And you can see here you've got all the eligible players for the expansion draft, 168 of them in total. The rules for the expansion draft, since we don't know exactly what the plan then, what any future NHL expansion draft will be doing as far as protected lists and so on, we've just made a rough guess going by past drafts. As to which players are going to get protected and which not. Now, it looks like we've got the first pick overall, and the first 3 rounds of the draft are going to be goalies. So I will switch the filter here just to show us goalies. Some years the NHL has required the expansion draft to start with a goalie draft. And other years they haven't. In the context of the game, we decided to restrict it that way, to have a separate group of rounds for goalies and one for defensemen and one for forwards. And that way it makes it tends to make the artificial intelligence on the AI teams a little smarter, since they're not doing anything crazy like picking 30 forwards and 3 defensemen. They're sort of forced into picking a properly structured team.
So, begs the question, what do you do here? Do you go young? Do you go solid veteran? I mean, interesting choices.
Yeah, that's a question. That's a fun part about doing an expansion draft, where you've got a complete blank slate at the start of the game. And it looks like we've got a question in the chat. Are there any plans for a dark skin in this game? Yeah, we've at the moment, I think we're just for FHM2. There won't be one. We're just looking at the graphics, what the changes we're going to make to the graphics for FHM3 at the moment. I was actually supposed to hear something back on that today or tomorrow. I haven't heard yet. But yeah, I think that's something we're going to need to consider. I know there's a lot of people out there that are colorblind to and have difficulty, telling certain things, like if differentiating between some visual cues where we've got text in a different color, and it's a little more difficult for them to see what it is. So we may look at doing something different and maybe adding a high contrast version of the skin, or a darker one.
So right off the bat, I mean, I'm shocked that Kerry Lettinen is available. Is that because of his salary? Is that because
Yep, that's the big
Dallas
one.
has a
$6 million bucks, and how long are these? Is he left on it? 3 years. And
Well,
the
that's
NHL
nice.
teams in this case will only have been able to protect one goalie. They've got a little
Right.
bit of wiggle room because they're allowed to. They don't have to protect some of the younger prospects. I can't remember offhand what the exact rule is. I think it might be anybody that's under 25 they don't have to protect.
And then when one of their guys gets chosen, then they're able to then pull back others, or
Nope,
do
not in this
they
case.
not
They've
even-
they've only done that, I think, in, if I'm remembering correctly, one historical expansion draft where they were allowed to pull player to add player to protect players after when a round went by. And there have also been a few cases where they've restricted how many players could be taken from an individual team. But in this case, we just left it wide open. So you can take as many as you want from one team. There's no restrictions at all.
I mean, it seems obvious Anderson here, right? Like, he's young,
Yeah,
in
it
mid
looks like-
20s. He's the best rated guy.
Yep, and so yeah, Anaheim's probably protected John Gibson. They're
Right.
kind of in a rough spot because they've got two young goalies that are in the same ballpark skill-wise, and they can only keep one of them.
What's Anderson's salary?
Anderson is a pretty reasonable deal, I think. 1.15, 1 year left. He's a UFA at the end of that, but it's a bit of a gamble that he's going to take a walk.
Yeah, it's hard being a goaltender on a expansion franchise.
Yeah, this is not going to be a fun season for Anderson, but I mean,
no,
he is
it's
clear-cut
not.
the best guy, the best goalie in there. He's a 4-star rated guy, and also one of the youngest. He's got a decent deal, so I think we pretty much have to go with him. I don't see.
But hold on a second. I mean, again, if he's an unrestricted free agent after the year, I mean, what about, like, there's a great chance at a walk as opposed to if you get Lettinen, right?
Yeah.
And he's got a deal for a few years. Or what about
But I
a
think
couple of
there's
the other youngsters?
Yeah, but I think what I might do there is hedge my bets a little bit by we can make 3 goalie picks. So the third one, I may deliberately choose a guy who's not. There's nobody too terrible on this that's available right now. But so what I'll do is use the third goalie pick on somebody like Markstrom, who's got a few, who's either, if I'm remembering correctly, 2 years left on his deal, or somebody that's going to be a restricted free agent and that I know I can make an offer on and get re-signed. But I think Anderson probably makes the most sense for the first pick, so I will take him. And can we unretire Brodeur and pick him up? No, unfortunately you can't. Once we don't have that, you can do it in out of the park baseball, but in FHM at the moment, once a guy is retired, he's retired for good. You could always edit somebody. You could always go in and either take an existing goalie and turn him into Brodeur, or add a new goalie and give him all of Brodeur's numbers. But given the way Brodeur played with the Blues, I'm not sure you would want that at all.
Good point. As much as I love Marty, my all-time favorite goalie, the last year or two weren't the best.
Yeah. And this is a serpentine draft, so Houston is going to select the next 2 picks, and I will just click on the pick until human button, since there's only one other team drafting, and we're not going to miss anything right there. And they picked, no surprise. They wind up with Dallas's goalies, so Kerry Lettinen and Michael Neuwirth. Pretty solid goaltending combination to start with. Now, my pick, let's see, 4 3.5 star guys. One other thing that I should mention here that we want to consider is that we have to get to the cap floor as well. Yeah, we have to abide by the salary cap at the top end, but that's not going to be a problem unless we go completely crazy drafting every high salary player, and I don't think even then we will make it to it. But we also have to get over that. I think it's 52.5, if I remember right. low 50s. And one of the ways to do that would be to pick up some salaries that are high right now and maybe only 1 year long. So what that's going to do is get me over the salary floor for this year, but give me a lot of flexibility next year. I can either try and re-sign them or trade them away, but I'm not committed to that salary for next season. And then since the expansion isn't happening until later than it would actually occur in a normal game, if I had expanded at the end of 2015-16 instead of doing this right at the start of the game, the teams would have been there right on July 1st at the free agency date, and I could have used my cap room to chase much better free agents than would be available in the expansion draft. But at this point, there's not the pickings are pretty slim free agent wise. And I'll see that once I get out of the draft and spend whatever little money I have. But right now, I think it's the smart move may be to pad our salary cap with high-value contracts that are going to expire at the end of this year anyhow. So in this case, I've got it sorted by salary at the moment. There's Kari Ramo, who had an okay year in Calgary this year. It doesn't seem like he'd be a terrible pick as the backup. And he's on a $3.8 million deal for 1 year. Backstrom, the one difficulty with Nicholas Backstrom, taking him from Minnesota, is he's got no movement clause in his contract. So if I wanted to get to the trading deadline and maybe try to dump him for some draft picks, or at least get some sort of value back from a team that needed a better backup going into the playoffs, he may not go along with that. So I'm a little leery of him, and Jimmy Howard for the same reasons also got a no trade clause. And Backstrom I'm not even going to be able to send to the minors because of that no movement clause, so I think he's strictly out. There's Brian Elliott, a decent goalie, but he's on a 2-year deal, and if I go below that, the other Anaheim goalie, Khudobin, Ben Scrivens, who finished a year up in Montreal. And
what about Elliott? I mean, I don't know if you mentioned him, but 2 years, $2.5 million starting goalie. He's a guy who, especially if our Anderson walks, at least you're not potentially starting over with 2 new goaltenders in year 2.
Yeah, that's one possibility. The other thing would be to maybe use the third rounders insurance on that, because there's a couple of guys, ex-Canuck, or one current Canuck, one ex-Canuck, Markstrom and Lack, who wouldn't be bad in that case. I think you're probably right here, because I kind of suspect that Houston is going to be choosing between Howard and Elliott here, and if I take Ramo now, I may not get Elliott, but if I wait until the third round, and I'm an idiot because this is a serpentine draft and I've got the next 2 picks and I can do whatever I want, so completely ignore what I just said. Okay, so I think I'm going to go with, how old is Elliott's? Only 30. Yeah, that I think makes sense to me. I can live with that salary commitment. I was leaning a little more towards Markstrom just because I'm a Canucks fan, but let's go with Brian Elliott, and just to pad the salary cap a little bit, Kari Ramo.
Goaltender.
And now what will happen here is I will advance to pick until human again, and you'll see that Houston makes the first defenseman pick, as we've moved over to the defenseman segment of the draft now. It's split up into, like I said, goalies, defensemen, and forwards. If I'm remembering right, this runs for 8 rounds, I think, as defenseman. Not crazy about Strawman as the top overall pick, but if they want to do that, they're welcome to. I will flip back to the info screen, which will give us the star ratings, and that's not going to do a whole lot for us, as when you see that I sort by them, literally every guy on here is 3-star rated. That illustrates a bit of a problem in the game right now. The way we set up the scaling on the star ratings this year, the way it converts from the internal player rating the game uses, does it in a way that makes 3 stars effectively the bottom end, or that's more or less the replacement level player, I guess you could say, for whatever league you're currently looking at. And the problem is that that really compresses the vast majority of the player base in the league right around that 3-star level. So you won't see a lot of you probably won't see any 1-star guys on a roster, and there's not going to be that many higher end guys. So what we're going to be doing with FHM3 next year, I sent the plan to this over to the guys a couple of weeks ago. We're going to rescale that so you'll get a much more even distribution across the 5-star ratings, and you'll see something that's a little more similar to the way they looking out of the park baseball right now, because when you're playing out of the park, you will have 1.5-star guys on your roster. It's not that unusual, and instead of all being clustered up around 3 stars. And if that was in effect right now, I would get a much better list, other than basically being told that all of these guys are almost identical in skill level. But it makes it a bit of a challenge here, because I will have to start looking into more details like their salaries and
Well,
contract
could we start
details.
looking off at age?
Yep, that's definitely one of the other things. And I'll also draft for some specific rules here. But age is a pretty good place to start. And you got Thomas Hickey on here. He starts the season injured, but he's been okay for the Islanders. The guy I kind of like here, though, is Brendan Smith from the Wings. Good two-way player. He's only 26. I believe he's on a decent contract. Let me just open that up and take a look. 2.2 with 2 years. Oh, his cap it's 2.75. His actual cash salary is only 2.2. He's going to be UFA at the end of that, but we got lots of time to try to re-sign him. And I think that's a pretty solid pick to start for an expansion team to start with. And I shouldn't have exited this screen that way because I reset my filter that way. But getting back to the defenseman, I think I'm going to go with Brendan Smith to start with. And I get one more pick here. He's plays the right side mainly. I'm not sure what his looking at the position rating. Oh, he's actually pretty comfortable on the left side too, so I'm not really stuck. Definitely having to find a left defenseman for the top pair. I could find another right guy too. But I'm thinking Hickey, who I just mentioned, is probably the best option here. I'm just scrolling through the list, not seeing any other names jumping out. Jakob Kindle, not bad. He didn't have the greatest year this year. Andrew McDonald, I don't mind him. Looks like he's actually starting the season on the Flyers AHL team if he doesn't get drafted. And a few other guys around. Ladislav Smid, that's Jeff Schultz, not Justin Schultz. Not seeing Matthias Oland, who is technically still on Tampa's roster, but who's injured pretty much permanently in the game. You don't want 167 months left with his knee problems. You do not want to be picking him, and the AI should be staying away from him too. Zidlichky's there, but 38 years old. He actually had a decent year this year. He wasn't too terrible, but he got a little bit left in the tank. But I don't think I want to take him that early. If he's still floating around after 3 or 4 rounds, maybe I grab him then. But I think I would.
What's your goal with this team? Are you trying to squeak into the playoffs year one? Are you trying to put a roster together that you can then flip for draft picks? Like, what's your aim here?
A little more towards the latter. There's just no realistic prospect of getting into the playoffs in the first year with an expansion team. So the best thing to do is really to build your roster in a way that you're going to maximize what you can improve on in a year or two from now. Whether that's picking up guys who are veterans and who will have some value at the trading deadline, or I can flip them for draft picks, or some younger guys who've got a little bit more room to improve. There just really aren't a lot of those available just because of the way the eligibility rules work. So I may have to pick through the free agents to see if I can find any guys with a little bit of room to grow here, but right now the pickings are really slim, and it's going to be this ugly if there is a real NHL expansion draft. Trust me. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if the protection rules are even a little more easy on the established teams, because the NHL seems awfully hesitant about expanding even to begin with, so they're probably going to be pretty rough. So let's go with Thomas Hickey here. Hickey and Smith isn't exactly your perfect, your ideal 1-2 defensive combo, but we're taking what we can get here. We'll see what the AI does. And they go with Kindle and Brian Strait. Yeah, not bad picks. And you can see they're tending to go a little bit. They've gone fairly young all the way through here, too. I think Lettinen is the oldest guy they've picked so far. Ratcast asking, what years can you have an expansion draft? You can do it literally any year until you run out of expansions for the NHL. I can't remember offhand how many are allowed. I think it's is it 8 teams? I think it's 8 teams or 10 teams. You can do it quite a bit, and you can do it literally every year. The option is only available at the very start of the game and on July 1st of each subsequent year. So if you get to July 1st when the season changes over and everyone goes to free agency and all the other various updating is done, you have to do it then. If you go to as soon as you're on July 2nd, the option isn't available until the same time next year. So let's see, we need to find a second defensive pair here. And I'm going to start looking at the ratings a little bit, since pretty much everything, what I'll do first actually is filter this down. Let's not look at anybody over the age of 28. I may pick up some older guys, Zelichki in particular, in the later picks, but for now we want somebody that, even though it's saying the potential is 3 stars in all those guys, you can maybe squeeze a little extra development out of the younger ones. So we'll limit to age 28. I'm going to look at the defensive ratings, and I'm going to go with defensive skill to begin with, just because there's not really anybody that's particularly great offensively available as far as I can. Actually,
I think it's time to take Paul Postma.
Yeah, Postma's one good option. Let me just double check to make sure there is no good puck mover available. Yeah, no. I'm guessing Zedlichki will have decent numbers. Philip Larson is there, but the problem with Larson is you can see he is actually playing in the KHL. Players who have NHL rights, whose NHL rights are owned, are also eligible for this draft. So you have to be a little bit cautious about who you're drafting, because you're only getting the rights to Larson if you draft him. You'll still have to sign him away from Helsinki, and he may not want to go. So that's a bit of a risk, and you don't want to spend a pick that high on him for sure. Maybe the very end of the draft. You see the puck handling. Jamie McVeigh is the best option. He's not much of a passer. And there's Larson. There's just nothing after that. So I'm going to have to focus on defense here. So maybe we can put a decent, fairly solid defense in front of Anderson and make life a little easier for him. Postman's got decent positioning rating. And let's see. Defensive read number, where's Postman here? Still in the middle of the pack, really. Nobody that's particularly physical. Justin Falk. The other thing I want to take a look at here is what salaries is on. Falk is unsigned, so we'd have to sign him. And what kind of a deal does Postma have? Okay, that's a nice deal. $887,000, and he's got 2 years left on it. So yeah, I like that. Whoops, keep doing that. Don't do that. You have to reset the filter again. What did I say? 28 for the age. And we will go with Postma, And I think I will try to look for a left defenseman to go with him. Don't want Grignani. We had him in Vancouver for about half a season, and that was not good. Thinking Jamie McBain or Andrew McDonald. And the nice thing about McDonald is, if I remember correctly, his leadership rating, 15 leadership. So there's a potential captain there. I may find somebody that's a little bit better than him, but 28, really good leadership. He's as good as any other defense. Oh man, I forgot about the contract. Ay, that's problematic. 4 million cap hit for 5 years. That is a lot more than I want to take on. And I did it again. Gotta remember to use the back button. I'm actually going to leave the age filter off here for a second because I want to take a look at the offensive ratings. And if I'm remembering correctly, Zalewski is, even at that age, he's much better puck mover, much better passer than pretty much any other player that's available. And I think
really good at offensive zone turnovers too, by the way.
Yeah.
More than a couple of those in the last few years.
Yeah. That's we don't have a lot of better options here. He's got 1 year left on the deal. And I actually think I'm going to take him here just because the options are absolutely terrible for offensive defensemen. And if Houston grabs him, I'm going to have to go with Christian Ehrhoff, yet another ex-Canuck, and he's gone downhill so badly in the last few years. Zalewski is still is older than him, and he's still a lot better. So
I'm not sure if you saw the question in the chat, by the way, about which years can you have an expansion draft.
Yep, I did answer that. You can do that literally any year. Yeah. At the start of the game and then on July 1st of every subsequent year. I'm going to go with Zalewski there, and that is our top 2 defensive pairs. Smith, Hickey, Postman, Zalewski. It's an expansion team.
That's serviceable.
Serviceable might be a little charitable, but yeah, it's
okay.
Okay, and Las Vegas takes Jeff Schultz and Nate Prosser. Not bad picks. I think they're kind of loading up on right defenseman here. Yeah, they're a little heavy on that side. And okay, we've got to round out our top 6. Let's take a look at the ages again. I think I want to go with another younger guy here. Mark Barberio. He was okay-ish in Montreal in real life this year. I think he's on a decent deal here. Yeah, it looks like he's on a minor league one. And he's got 1 year left on it. That's one option. Victor Bartley. Oops, don't have it sorted by age. There's Larson, and Brad Lashoff. Let's see take a look at the defensive ratings comparing Barberio and Lashoff. 14 positioning, 14 checking, and where did I lost Lashoff? Actually, I want somebody who's a little more physical now to think about it. There we go. I think it's Engeland. I think
he's in the boards.
Yeah, he's fairly old, 33, if I remember it. Yeah, 33. And on a $3 million deal, and that's for 2 years. Yeah, it's a little bit too much. Eric Greba.
Jamie McBain wouldn't be a bad pickup either.
Yep. Let's see. Greba's got 1 year left on his deal. What's McBain's contract look like? See, Ladislav Smid is still down there too. Might be a decent depth guy. McBain has also on a minor league deal. And I forgot he can play a little bit of left wing too. So. Might be just good to take him just for the utility, so let's go with Jamie McBain.
McVade.
And
Sorry, I had to do that.
oh yeah. And let's see, probably take a right defenseman here. Another physical guy. Good. I think I'm gonna. Smead plays the left side, and yeah, no, he's not rated very well at right, and he's got an injury to start the season, and he's been going downhill pretty badly the last 2 years. I'm thinking Justin Falk here. And I gotta move this along a little bit. This is getting close to 8. Grieber and Chorney, and let's see, I'm gonna take another couple of defensemen. I think Robida might be good to have a little bit of a veteran present. Oh no, he's out for 3 months. Forget that. Grant Clitsome, great name. He's actually a pretty decent puck mover. 1 year left in his deal. He's a Jet. What do you think, Adam?
Well, he's hurt. Actually, he just retired today.
Oh yeah, chronic back soreness, 10 months. Forgot about that. Okay, forget that.
Yeah,
he did. He
just
retired for
from the
real.
NHL.
Oh, okay, that's good. He's a fairly young guy too.
Well, 31. He's
Yeah.
Your back's more important than hockey, so.
Yeah, good point. Let me take a look at the contract screen. And is there somebody we can pad our salary with a little bit? Nikita Nikitin. Didn't do anything at all this year. He's really the only big salary I see that's got a 1 year left on it, so I'm going to grab him just for the sake of getting to that salary floor. And I need a right defenseman. Oh, Clayton Stoner's still out there. 3.2 million for 3 years. Let's see, he's 30. Pretty solid all the way all around. I think I can. Yeah, I don't know if I want to eat that big salary. Is there anybody that's a little cheaper? There's still Barbario there. I think I'm going to go with him instead. Take Barbario. And, oh good, Houston took air off. Takes him out of there. And let's see, we've got, we're still drafting defense, but I think we've got 1 or 2 more here. Find another guy who can hit a little bit. What the heck, I'll take Stoner. A little extra salary doesn't hurt. And yeah, the pickings are getting kind of thin at this point. David Schlemko.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Well, we have a 3.56 defensemen.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be a competitive training camp at least. And there we go. We're finally into the forwards, and Houston kicks it off by taking Jarrett Stoll. I'll switch the filter over to forwards. We got to get somebody here who can score. Let me see if there's any. Okay, we got 3.5 potential star guys to start with. Unfortunately, none of them are great, so it's. I don't think we want Karan, even though he's the youngest guy there. Cody Hodgson or Michael Raffle. I think I'm actually going to go with Hodgson here. Just on the... how many years has he got left on his deal?
Boo. Boo.
Yeah, but what we can do is we play him on the first line for... Let me see how long he's got left. Unrestricted. No, he's going to be UFA at the end of this year. Okay, what we do, we play him on the first line up to the trading deadline. Pad his points a bunch. He's going to look great. He's going to be a great trade bait, and then we dump him for a draft pick.
That's assuming he doesn't get hurt, which he will.
More than likely, but if it works out, perfect pump and dump. So Go with Hodgson there. Now, yeah, I've got 2 picks here, so I can get Raffle too.
Oh, they took Jared Stoll to start off with.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And Matt Martin, Sharon Horkoff. Yeah, this isn't looking terribly impressive. What do I need? I need a right wing to play with those 2 on the first line. Oh, Richard Panik. He's only 24. Cut that down to just the right wings for a minute. Yeah, that's a pretty terrible group. That's washed up. Hey, John Scott's in there.
Oh, no. I think Mike Raffle's the best guy to take.
But Alexander Seaman, do I take a chance on him?
No.
Maybe he has a miraculous comeback. He's only got 1.1.
No.
Maybe with the very last pick. Who'd you say, Adam?
Well, Michael Raffle wouldn't be a bad pick unless he already went.
I got him already. I got him with the because I had the first or the second and the third pick, so I used the
yeah,
third one
behind.
Let's see. That's JT Brown.
Well, who do we have who could essentially be a captain too? Look at some leadership points.
Let me take a look at the mental ratings and see if there's any of the right wings. Dan Clary, Nathan Horton, who's hurt. Oh, Chris Neal. I think good solid guy to have in an expansion team.
Absolutely.
Fight a little bit. Probably wear the C. Not exactly scorer, but... And we got one more pick here. Any other good leadership types? Not particularly. I still need some offensive skill here. Getting open,
Thomas Fleischman's available there, I see.
yeah, that might be a pretty good. And he's actually got the highest getting open rating in the game. Panic is up there too. I think I'm going to take Fleischman, and if Panic is still there when my pick comes back around, I'll grab him too, and then find a center to put between them.
I'm just seeing here Sean Thornton. That should be a pick, so we can just have a goon line for the third line.
And Matt Stajan, and good, they took Scotty Upshall, because I hate Scotty Upshall. I didn't want him anyhow. And
That's
Panic
some
is
throwback hockey.
Yeah.
Goons are gone in the real NHL, but we're bringing them back.
Oh, Daniel Winnick. Wouldn't be a bad pick either.
Yeah, let me see who have we got for Mark Savard. That'd be not a great pick. What's his? I think Savard has got one of those. His injury set to 180 months or 167 months with post-concussion syndrome. See anything in Kyle Brodziak, Paul Byron, Dustin Jeffrey. Oh, Santorelli, he did okay. Max Talbot, Nick Tarnasky.
We're just gonna lit up on old Jets.
Yeah,
Add Santorelli.
it's old Jets and Canucks mostly. I'm gonna take a look at the centers and find us a decent face-off guy. That'll be our second line center. Franklin, Denning, Savard. Joachim Anderson. Decent salary, decent contract. I think he's only got 1 year on it. But yeah, I'm gonna go with that. There's gonna be some serious turnover here by the end of the season, I'm sure. Go with Anderson for the second line center, and drafting a lot of Europeans here.
Take the best player available.
And Steve Ott, Drew Miller, yeah, Houston's going for the tough guys here. Let me make sure they don't totally corner the market on that. Who's the best fighter that's still out there? McGrattan's out there. Brendan Prust is available.
Well, that would be a good fourth line guy.
Yeah, not a bad guy. Didn't really work out for the Canucks this year, but take him. And Let's see, you need a little bit of defensive skill. Let me see who's available. I probably want a left wing or a center here. If Clary wasn't so old, he wouldn't be a bad pick. Dominic Moore, Stephen Giunta. We'll take a devil for Rich.
Thank you.
There we go. Giunta, third line center for us.
Giunta, he can play.
Nope, Stephen. It's the lesser Giunta.
Now let's go with Brian.
And Houston takes a couple ex-Canucks, Mason Raymond and Steve Bernier.
Matt Halischuk. There's a guy who tries really hard and just can't always get a goal.
Bernier?
Halischuk.
Oh, Halischuk. Okay, yeah, he's left wing. Need a right wing here. I think I'm gonna. What's kind of deal is Clary on? 950, and yeah, he's 36, but he's cheap and he's got some. He's probably the clear-cut best defensive player still available. I only want him for a year, so I'm gonna take him. And you want Halischuk? We'll take that.
Daniel Window there too wouldn't be a bad pick.
Yep, I think I'll use the next one unless Houston grabs them. Nope, they went for Dominic Moore and Brad Boyes. So Winnick. And I've always been a Max Talbot fan. I am going to bring him in there as well. Got some pretty good leadership on this team.
I feel like we've just rated like pretty much 3 teams.
And Houston takes a couple of centers, Mitchell and Santorelli, and I don't think we have to take any particular position here. Scrolling down the list, who's there? Martin Havlet is out there. A lot of washed up offense first guys. Clarkson, another big ugly contract. Fedotenko. Victor Stahlberg.
Should we look to add a couple more Canadians or something to the team since you said we have quite a few Europeans?
I guess so. Let's find a couple of grinders here.
Cherry over here.
Yeah.
What was that, Rich?
Are you playing the part of Don Cherry here?
No.
I'm assuming that you don't. We're not going to get. You don't want McGrath and go that far over on it. No, Sean Thornton's still there. You want him? We'll take him.
Well, it's up to you.
That's the right wing for that line, and left wing or center. I'm just trying to balance this out. Oh, Caron's still around. He was one of the only 3.5-star potential guys. I'm not sure why he's 3.5 stars, but we'll take him because the other options I see there at left wing are David Clarkson, and I am not going anywhere near Tanner Glass. So enough of him with Alain Vigneault as his coach for a few years in Vancouver. And center, Smith, Brodziak. Nick Tarnaski. I'm taking him because he is a former Kelowna Rocket. Got to go with the hometown guy.
All right.
Malone Cliche. Got to be coming up on the end of this pretty soon. Let's see if we can find ourselves a decent shooter here. No offensive read. I want shooting accuracy. That green. I've got to change that green color at some point. That's not doing us any favors. Oh wow, this is pretty bad. Chris Terry. 25. Got a decent contract. We need 75. He had another expiring contract.
John Scott.
Okay, John Scott. But if he gets elected to the All-Star team, we're trading him.
John Scott to Vegas would be amazing, let's be honest.
True. And I think Byron is the center, and one I need to take a left wing. The next one comes around. I am not taking Clarkson's salary on now. What? Oh, Greening is out there. He was okay for a couple of years in Ottawa, if I remember right. 1.75 cap hit. Looks like he's got a contract that was front-loaded. He's reasonably cheap. Yeah, I'm going to go with him. Oops, I got one more pick here. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna see if Seaman can pull off the contract here. There's no risk to it. Pull off the comeback. I mean, no risk. Might as well take a flyer on him. And
Go for it.
I will gotta try and pad that salary cap up a little bit. Go with Zach Smith. And I'm just gonna take the last few guys. Oh, we're done. I think, or do I have another? Oh no, we're not done. I've got another pick here. Let's go Stallberg.
Well, then we should quickly look at free agents that we should be picking up.
Yep, do that as soon as we're out of here. Eric Nystrom, always liked him. Well, it's getting really thin here. Who's the youngest guy out there? Youngest center, Jamie Wright. Okay. And we're done. Now let me just get out of here, and the first thing I'm going to do as soon as we're out of here is get rid of that god-awful bright green color scheme. I just want to see how ugly the uniforms look when I open this up. And there's our roster.
And that
wow,
is
green,
all sorts of the world.
green and red. Not attractive at all. So you don't like your team's color scheme, this is what you can fix it with. Let's see, we're called the Aces, so obviously got to go with the black theme.
Red and black,
color in
right?
the jersey. Yeah, black, white, and red, I think. You know,
Yeah.
maybe.
Or you could create your own jersey through one of our community members made a
Yep,
nice
if I.
little app that is on the
just
forums.
do the quick version of that right now. Yeah, I think we may hunt down. We may use that. I think what we'll do with this game is this may be the last time we cover it in a regular Twitch stream, but we'll provide updates on. We'll run the league forward a few years and do Facebook and some Twitter updates and let you know how this how the Las Vegas Aces worked out. It's red for the second color, white for the text color. How does that look? Oops. It would help if I saved it.
Radcast in the chat. Red and boring.
But it sells.
It's better than blue and white.
I've actually seen some really nice red, white, and black jerseys. It's like the sort of versions of the Hawks color scheme. That can come out really
Well,
nice.
I really like Prince George's
Yeah, that's
color scheme jerseys.
yeah. Oh, speaking of which, Memorial Cup wound up the other day. Congratulations to the London Knights.
Yeah,
And I think we called that one odds-on favorite
Yes, you did.
to win him. And I haven't been watching the NHL score. Is that
In overtime.
Oh, it's
1-1.
an overtimes one.
Yep.
Okay, we've got to get San Jose's got to take one back because we picked them to win the cup. And they
That's
blew
true.
the first game. And let's see, yeah, the black and white.
They haven't won an overtime game in these playoffs either, so they
Ouch.
are due.
Yeah.
0-3 in overtime so far this year.
And there we have the roster. The floor is 52.8 million, and look at that. I nailed it exactly.
Perfect.
Either that or I was low and it's adding padding to it, but one way or the other. And the one thing we wanted to take a look at, but I don't think we're gonna have time to get into that, is see what free agents are out there. I don't think there's anybody too amazing. Todd Bertuzzi still hanging around.
What?
Keith Ballard's out there. Yeah, most of these guys are going to be retired in a season or so. A couple of
who's
young
the top pick?
Russians. Looks like Bertuzzi is actually the best guy out there.
That's surprising.
I'm going for it. I'm
Any chance you can get Ilya Kovalchuk to come back?
very slim. And he only wants 550,000. Come on, he's. Oh no, he wants 3.8 to $3 million. Yeah, sorry, Todd. That's for a 1-year deal. It's not like I'm using the cap money on anything else. I'll tell you what, Todd. I'll give you 2.8, and you should be happy with that.
Sure, 2.8 for us.
Oh, he'll almost consider it. He wants 2.9. All right, you can have 2.9. And we're going to be going into the 2015 season with Todd Bertuzzi as our best offensive player. So yeah, this team will be. Let's see if we can stay out of dead last. That'll be the achievement. But hey, we'll have a shot at Austin Matthews in the lottery. And I think yeah, we're a little past 8, so we should probably wind it up there. And we will. I will send this. Actually, I think I'll just continue simming this forward and send occasional updates over to Adam so he can post them on Facebook and Twitter, and you can see how the Las Vegas Aces do in their in the hypothetical 2015 expansion. Maybe add a couple more expansion teams down the road. Let Quebec finally get back into the league, just out of sheer pity at this point. But
put one Moncton first.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes.
Okay, and wrap it up here. Adam, let's see what I need to mention here. You usually do this, but your voice is giving out.
Okay, you can find us on Twitter, which is you can find us on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/franchise hockey manager. You can see us stream live on twitch.tv/OOTP developments every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Video will be archived on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/developments, where all our previous Twitch streams are. If you have further questions, come on down to our website, which is ootpdevelopments.com, and join the forum. And there's lots of people talking about baseball franchise, which is Out of the Park Baseball, talking about Franchise Hockey Manager 2, some buzz for Franchise Hockey Manager 3, the MLB Manager 2016, which is the mobile
game, yep. And the other big news for today, we've for the duration of the finals, or at least the next week or so, they may be over faster than that. We've dropped the price on FHM2 by 50%, so
Yep.
$9.99 US. If you haven't got the game already, it's a great time to get it right now.
I tell you, if you've been to check out Franchise Hockey Manager 2, there's no better time than now. It's a great price for a great game, and you will not be disappointed.
Yeah. And I think that's it for us this week. We will be back next week with returning to probably our modern Winnipeg Jets game, and then we will, I think, may go back to our historical Jets game the year after that. But if you missed us last week, do we even want to mention that, Adam? Our first overall President's Cup winning Jets got knocked out in the first round of the playoffs. So yeah, we'll be looking to bounce back from that and find a couple of scapegoats to get rid of.
Yes, and some early things. There might be some very quick scapegoats.
Like the coach, for example, but we will get into that next week. Thanks for joining us, everybody, and